understanding that there was something going on.
Well, let me just impress upon everyone exactly what the President said this morning about the involvement, maybe, of President Obama. Roll the tape again, please.
Sleepy Joe was involved in this also very much, and other people around President Obama were totally involved, and you'll see more and more things come out, I think, because, you know, like, I know how it works.
He implied that it does go all the way up to the top. Now, if the President is right, and these new documents reveal exactly that, you're looking at the biggest political scandal, certainly in my lifetime, and probably anybody's.
In American history, this was a cabal of people, of permanent bureaucrats, of Democrats in the Hill and in the White House, and of the permanent Washington press corps, where they decided they didn't like the outcome of the election, 2016.
There he is. The effing rat quadroon. None of you black people out there think that this has to do with race. The simple truth of the matter is, Obama is not a black American. Now, if that offends you, you know, my heart pumps piss for you. But this guy was handpicked. And for all you brothers out there that find this incredible, that some guy would make that charge, you ask yourself, where did this guy come from? Where? All the qualified black men and women that have been involved in politics in this country for the last 30 years, 40 years, and this guy comes out of the ether. There's accusations of his homosexuality in Chicago, that he was a frequent star in the bathhouses. You have a witness of a limo driver that paid money to perform fellatio on him. Okay? This isn't a revelation. If you think Obama represents black America, I got to tell you, I don't know what country you came from. Okay, the black guys that I grew up with were mostly masculine. They certainly weren't little princesses riding around the back of a limo with a bullhorn in one hand and a box of condoms in the other. But hey, you know, I got to fill out my bracket. What do you think that was all about? The ultimate patronage. Yeah. Why don't we get a cartoon of him eating watermelon and fried chicken on the way to the basketball game? It's disgusting. But you black people fell for it. And some of us cracker boys didn't. It makes me sick. How easy you're duped and played by the plantation-owning Democrats. The same plantation owners that literally owned plantations in the 1850s and 60s. I never understood the marriage there. It's like you've got corn pone for a blood type. But they handpicked this guy. This is the Saul Alinsky pediment of logic. Give him a shove. So here's what we're going to do to move the Americans off their conservative American access. I don't mean conservative as in political. I mean as in a stable republic of 270 years. That's America. And there's a moral conservatism that keeps us there, of which black America owns a great percentage. The lowest rate of divorce among people in American history were black Christians. The lowest rate of divorce in the early up to the almost mid-1900s. And then Whitey came with his welfare check and destroyed the black family and stepped in as mama and dada. And it's the endless story of the basketball star that didn't have a daddy. Go down, Moses, let my people... I mean, it won't stop. And you never see the orchestrator behind the musicians. It's the same evil. Obama is the cartoon of all of it. Is Eric Holder, Fast and Furious? On 10/20/81, I was running in Nyack. I've told the story 100 times. And in front of me unfolded a scene like I'll never forget. A beautiful autumn afternoon, gunfire, and two buddies 2 dead cops, Eddie O'Grady and Waverly Brown. I was in Eddie's wedding. And I used to talk to Waverly. We called him Chip all the time in town. He was the sweetest guy you ever met. Chip was black. Eddie was white. Both were killed by Obama's buddy Bill Ayers and the Weather Underground. If you think Obama cares about the color of your skin, if you're adversarial to his communist world globalist agenda, he'll bury you. This is old news. So if you'll do Fast and Furious, what won't you do? The minions, the unmiry, ungodly mixture of the Clintons and the Obamas, the Eric Holders, the Comeys, the crooked FBI, they're the same dirty cops that have been persecuting black America forever. And now they go after everybody. Seatbelts and cell phones, how you doing? While they steal everything that isn't nailed down. They are the greatest group of gangsters alive. Muckrakers with guns, badges, and blue uniforms. I'm a conservative all my life. My blood pressure the day I watched what they did to Rodney King was up over my ears. Not because I'm a sycophant for an oppressed black man, but because in America that's not supposed to happen. I don't care what Rodney King did. Okay? You're not the judge and jury. You're to make an arrest, and once the man is subdued, you don't got the right to beat him to a pulp. Same with Garner in New York. I don't say this to patronize black America. We're not Nazi Germany, or at least I thought. This is a moral problem. And that you'd elect a guy like Obama as your champion is as absurd as white people that work in unions, or blacks for that matter, listening to Hillary Clinton. I want to fight for you. She sent your jobs to China. 60,000 factories. She sat on the board of Walmart. Walmart's credo in their momentum stage in the 80s and 90s was, when you open a factory in China, come and see us, and then maybe we will buy from you. I know this firsthand. I know what scumbags are in the FBI firsthand. Buddy of mine ran the lab at Quantico. I know what gangsters they are. They're so criminal that the DOJ had to move the Homeland Security Spectrum Program from the auspices of the FBI over to the DEA. Because the FBI ran my good buddy out on a rail. Because he tried to keep them from stealing millions of dollars that he, along with other FBI guys, appropriated from Obama, by the way, in the office of OMB. This goes back to like 2009. And my buddy called me because he was all concerned about what was going to happen in the meeting, that he couldn't spend anywhere near his allocation, which on 9/11 was about $3 million. But by the time Obama was in his second year, it was approaching $1 billion. And so all the Cuomies of the world started stealing. And when my buddy said this money is dedicated to Homeland Security, they ran roughshod over him and accused him, just like they did to Trump, of everything they were doing. And the DOJ couldn't complete their Homeland Security Spectrum program without my buddy. So what did they do? They shifted the whole program over to the DEA and brought my buddy back into that department. Can you imagine? Is that not the ultimate admission of what renegade scoundrels are running our FBI? Do we got to talk about the weaponization of the IRS? Who did that? This creep, Obama. Go after Christian 501c under Lois Lerner and Mark Schulman. And I hope you two hear me, because we're never forgetting. And you better get out of this country if you don't end up in jail, because we're not forgetting. And you, Mr. Potato Head Brennan, we're not forgetting. A pox on your families. You got hell coming. What you did is the ultimate act of treason, and every one of you need to be hung. The Clintons, Obama, Brennan, Comey, McCabe, Strzok, you need to die for what you did. Die like guys like this died at the Battle of Gettysburg. The 124th New York Orange Blossoms, 82% casualties. September 6, 1862, they mustered out of Goshen with 1,000 men. And the day they mustered out in Newburgh, New York, they had but 136 live souls. So one day we'd have some scumbag Manchurian like this rat bastard who comes in the name of blackness, everything he is not, with his Muslim Indonesian ethos. That's what he is. He's not black American. Black Americans are among the greatest Christians that ever lived. And this rat bastard usurped them. He is a rat bastard. And everything he touched, like the devil, becomes decrepit, sullied, and full of sin. The word is corruption. That's his middle name. There's a reason why God had rules that we were to follow. Everything from sexual morality ad infinitum. Read the story of Sodom. The sixth thing I have against you is your sexual deviance. But it is a perfect symptom of a corrupted soul. And corruption begets corruption. And sin begets sin. And evil begets evil. And they never flower anything but what they are. Which makes fertilizer look pretty damn good. And as a horseman all my life, I know what the best fertilizer was. But these people just give you the stink and the disease, never the fruit of the flowers. Evil is evil. It has nothing to do with race, except for the fact that this guy was handpicked because they knew his race would give him a cover. Brilliant, actually. They pulled it off. But some obscure guy from Chicago, whose prerequisite experience was to have held a bullhorn BS artist. And doesn't he walk the walk as he buys a $15 million beachfront property in Martha's Vineyard? Right? Oh, really, Muffy? Get Biffy and bring around the sloop. It's time for our afternoon sail. Hey, brothers, you relate to that? Because this white guy doesn't. It's why I don't play golf. I don't emulate the aristocrats that I'm not a part of. I don't want to fake like I belong to a club that wouldn't have me as a member. I never understood that. Stupid women that want to wear $10,000 engagement rings when they don't even own a home. I never understood why some mediocre person, and I mean mediocre economically or less, would want to emulate what he is not. Black, white, rich, poor, celebrate what you are. It's equally repugnant when a wealthy man of means tries to act like rabble. By the way, that's all under the heading of perversion. So, all of this stuff that's coming out about Schiff, the crooked media, all that they tried to do to Trump, the only guy that ever said, I don't give a shit what color you are, if you're an American, I'm going to fight for you, and means it. I was a big Bush supporter. He fooled me. Both of them fooled me. But of course, the choice that we had in those days didn't afford me the luxury of going the other way anyway. But I don't have any reservation about admitting what a scoundrel George Bush is. You know why? Because he cavorts with this guy. And birds of a feather. We all know what killer criminals the Clintons are. I mean, how many stories do you have to read? But this was their ultimate shill. This was their ultimate cover. Obama. Say this out loud. Saddam Hussein Osama. Barack Hussein Obama. Now tell yourself, what's the mathematical chances that could happen? At the very interval of time when America was engaged in wars with a guy named Saddam Hussein and a guy named Osama bin Laden. And say it again. Saddam Hussein Osama. Barack Hussein Obama. Yeah, that could happen. That would be like in 1940, we elect a president named Rudolph Hitler. What do you think? Or how about Pojo? You think that could have happened? Whenever you see something that's that mathematically, illogically impossible, just consider those odds. And then know that either something really big and evil was behind it, like Satan, or his minions, like Adam Schiff, like Chucky Schumer, like Bella Pelosi. It's time to get away from the Kool-Aid, people. Know the truth, be set free, but know your enemy.